Did you know a single date on the calendar can instantly shift $27 million overnight without a single player ever stepping onto the gridiron? A massive financial time bomb is ticking right now in Philadelphia, and a shocking number of Eagles fans are completely blind to the absolute chaos going on behind the scenes. We are witnessing a calculated, cold-blooded front office move that looks less like a standard NFL partnership and more like a high-stakes corporate heist. The superstar contract everyone celebrated as a long-term commitment was actually engineered from day one to act as a trapdoor. One mastermind has his pen hovering over a circled date on the calendar, ready to pull the trigger on a move that will send shockwaves through the entire league. Before we dive in, smash that subscribe button if you want the fastest NFL updates on the planet. Howie Roseman didn't just stumble into this situation. He built an intricate financial maze that is about to change the landscape of the NFC East forever. While the mainstream media screams about locker room drama, the real story is written in cold, hard cash on a spreadsheet. Are the Eagles actually about to pull off the ultimate modern front office heist, or are they walking straight into a self-inflicted disaster? The signs of a looming rupture have been hiding in plain sight for anyone willing to look closely. When the Eagles opened up their voluntary workouts, one massive, unmistakable presence was missing from the Jefferson Health Training Complex. A.J. Brown's locker sat completely bare. While his teammates were on the field putting in work, the phones in the front office were practically melting from a constant stream of incoming calls displaying a New England area code. For months, the public narrative has been filled with endless gossip about fractured friendships, social media unfollows, and missed personal events with Jalen Hurts. But that is all smoke and mirrors designed to distract you from the brutal business reality of the NFL salary cap. The shift in the front office's attitude tells you everything you need to know about what is happening behind closed doors. Go back to the 2025 trade deadline, and Roseman was boldly telling reporters that you simply do not let elite talents like A.J. Brown walk out the door. Fast forward to the 2026 league meetings, and that fiery defense completely vanished. It was replaced by a flat, detached statement noting that A.J. Brown is currently a member of the Eagles. That isn't a declaration of loyalty. That is a carefully worded corporate press release from front office that is simply running out the clock until the calendar hits a very specific deadline. To understand why this waiting game is happening, you have to look at the exact mechanics of the NFL cap structure. If Philadelphia decides to trade their star wideout before June 1st, the financial penalty is an absolute catastrophe. The resulting dead cap hit skyrockets to a crushing $43.5 million. That staggering amount would represent one of the largest dead money penalties ever absorbed for a non-quarterback in the history of professional football. It would completely suffocate the team's ability to make any roster moves, effectively ending their championship window before the season even begins. But wait until you hear how the entire equation flips upside down the very next morning. The moment the calendar officially turns, the legal definition of the contract undergoes a massive transformation. By executing the exact same trade after the June 1st threshold, the dead cap penalty splits into manageable pieces. Instead of a single catastrophic blow, the Eagles would absorb roughly $16.4 million for the current season, while pushing the remaining $27.1 million down the road into the following league year. Think about how insane that is. It is the exact same player, the identical trade package, and the exact same destination. Yet a 24-hour difference on a calendar creates a $27 million swing in immediate financial breathing room. This isn't a scenario where a team can just slap a post-June 1st designation on a player and call it a day. In the NFL, trades do not qualify for that loophole. The paperwork must physically cross the league desk after that date has passed. Both front offices are fully aware of this rule, which is why we are locked in a silent standoff as everyone waits for the clock to run out. But the real genius of this situation lies in how Philadelphia set this up years ago. This wasn't a panic move or a lucky break. The $96 million contract extension given to Brown was packed with unique option bonuses designed to look like a standard commitment, while secretly preserving a massive summer trade window. These specific bonuses don't actually trigger until right before week 1 of the regular season. This gives the front office months of absolute flexibility to navigate the summer months without locking themselves into a corner. Because the bonus money stays clean and unprorated until that final trigger date, the team's dead money profile can be manipulated with surgical precision depending on the exact second they pull the trigger. Who is truly to blame for this sudden roster teardown? Drop a name in the comments below right now and tell me if you think management is making a brilliant move or a historic mistake. The financial pressure pushing on the organization from the inside makes this move a necessity rather than
It really dictates the defense
heavily restricted and the franchise sitting right around 18th in effective spending room according to the latest data. Holding on to a $29 million fully guaranteed wide receiver salary is becoming an impossible burden. Trading him after the deadline doesn't just clear the books. It actively creates immediate, spendable cash for a roster that is currently suffocating under the weight of its own expensive success. That newly acquired financial oxygen isn't going to sit in a bank account. It is already earmarked for 3 young defensive anchors who are about to demand market-shattering contract extensions that will completely reset the financial landscape of the entire NFL. The first man in line is Jalen Carter. Over the past 2 seasons, the dominant defensive tackle has transformed into an absolute wrecking ball at the line of scrimmage. His market value completely exploded after Will Anderson Jr. inked a historic 3-year, $150 million deal with Houston that featured a staggering $134 million in guarantees. Carter's camp is fully aware of this benchmark, and they're going to demand a contract in that exact same stratosphere. If paying your star defensive tackle a historic premium sounds tough, the situation in the secondary is even more intense. The Eagles are currently sitting on the most feared young cornerback tandem in the entire league, with Quinton Mitchell and Cooper DeJean. Both players are approaching their renewal windows simultaneously, and both are poised to completely shatter the current cornerback market benchmark established by Sauce Gardner's 4-year, $120.4 million deal. When you have 2 all-pro level cornerbacks on the same roster who both deserve salaries creeping toward $30 million per year, the math simply refuses to work unless you find a massive source of funding. When you look at the situation through that lens, moving on from an elite wide receiver stops looking like an emotional locker room breakup. It reveals itself as a cold, calculated reallocation of resources designed to construct the next great defensive powerhouse in Philadelphia. The actions of the front office during the recent draft completely confirmed what both organizations are preparing for behind the scenes. The Eagles aggressively loaded up on fresh, young wide receivers to fill the impending void. Meanwhile, the Patriots completely ignored the position on draft day and conspicuously left jersey number 11 wide open in their locker room. We are watching 2 separate franchises operating on opposite sides of a deal that legally cannot exist yet, both building their entire depth charts as if the transaction has already gone through. Insiders across the league are openly discussing this move as an inevitability once the calendar clears the deadline. This has completely moved past the rumor stage. It is a finalized business transaction just waiting for a page to turn. But the most terrifying aspect of this entire situation is what it means for the future of the sport. What is happening right now in Philadelphia is going to become the official blueprint for front offices across the league for the next decade. If the team proves they can win games without an elite weapon on the outside, while successfully locking down their defensive core, the entire valuation of the wide receiver position will change overnight. Teams will stop looking at star wideouts as franchise pillars and start treating them as temporary, monetizable assets that should be traded away for draft capital the moment they become too expensive. We saw the first wave of this trend years ago with the blockbusters involving Devontae Adams and Tyreek Hill. Now, the cycle is completing itself, and elite pass catchers are being treated like complex financial instruments rather than lifetime franchise icons. The player agents are watching this unfold with absolute horror, and they are already taking heavy notes for future negotiations. The next generation of superstar contracts will likely feature incredibly aggressive, front-loaded guarantees and ironclad no-trade clauses specifically engineered to block front offices from pulling off the exact type of maneuver we are seeing right now. The business of football is evolving at a breakneck pace, and Philadelphia is sitting right at the epicenter of a shift. With the critical deadline arriving in just a matter of days, $27 million hanging in the balance, and the entire future of a defensive core on the line, the ultimate question remains. Will this be remembered as a financial masterclass, or will fans look back in 2 years and realize they traded away the most dominant offensive weapon the franchise has ever seen?